All right, Legal Eagles, welcome back to Legal Avenue Deep Dive, the show that takes you beyond the headlines and straight into the heart of the legal world. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on our Counsel Ram YouTube channel. For more deep dives just like this one, I'm Big Dave, and I'm joined, as always, by our legal mind, Cypher. Today, we're taking you to Uganda, where things have gotten seriously dramatic. At the Uganda Law Society, we're talking attempted coups, accusations flying back and forth, a whole lot of legal chaos. So what even sparked this legal drama? Well, it seems like the secretary of the Uganda Law Society, Philip Munaabi, along with council member Geoffrey Muzima, decided to make a bold move, expelling the president and vice president of the organization, Isaac Ssemakadde and Asimiwe Anthony.
What's fascinating here is the reasoning behind the expulsion. According to a document called Council Order No. 001 of 2024, Ssemakadde and Anthony are accused of some pretty serious offenses.
Oh yeah, this isn't just your average disagreement. We're talking accusations of using inappropriate language towards government officials, undermining the Uganda Law Society's own reputation, and even financial misconduct. They were even urged to apologize for their actions by various organizations, but they seemingly ignored those appeals.
It seems like Munaabi and Muzima were aiming for a total reset, trying to restore public trust and confidence in the Uganda Law Society. But, of course, Ssemakadde and Anthony didn't just accept this quietly.
Nope, not at all. Asimiwe Anthony took to social media, flat out denying the expulsion and claiming that he and Ssemakadde were still running the show. Talk about a power struggle.
This raises an important question. What happens when the leadership of an organization like the Uganda Law Society is disputed? Who holds the authority? What does this mean for the members?
And the plot thickens even further. Remember OEC by Mazima Joshua? Well, he was the one who initially broke the news of the expulsion on social media. And he didn't stop there. He accused Anthony of making unauthorized withdrawals from the Uganda Law Society's account.
If those accusations are true, we're talking about potential legal ramifications for Anthony. Misusing funds from a professional organization is a serious offense.
But Ssemakadde wasn't backing down either. According to Joshua, he tried to access the Uganda Law Society's communication platforms, even allegedly trying to force his way into the public relations officer's home. He even demanded that the police intervene.
This suggests Ssemakadde was determined to hold on to his position and possibly counter the expulsion attempt. It's like a legal chess match, with each side making strategic moves to gain the upper hand.
And then comes the counteroffensive. Ssemakadde, Anthony, and several other council members fired back with a statement of condemnation, targeting Munaabi and Muzima.
They didn't mince words, accusing Munaabi and Muzima of acting without authorization and issuing threats. They claim Munaabi and Muzima blocked their access to platforms, made false statements, and even fabricated issues to make it look like the organization had integrity problems.
And as if things weren't dramatic enough, they declared a counter-expulsion, kicking Munaabi and Muzima out, and even appointed an interim secretary. Talk about a power move.
This situation highlights how internal conflicts can quickly escalate, especially when positions of authority and the reputation of an organization are at stake.
Now, remember Silver Kayando? He's a prominent figure who publicly praised the council's decision to oust Ssemakadde and Anthony. He even said something about preventing the Uganda Law Society from becoming a theater of comedy, emphasizing the need for them to maintain their reputation.
On the other side of the coin, we have past presidents of the Uganda Law Society who strongly condemned the expulsions, claiming that proper procedures weren't followed.
And to make matters even more confusing, the Uganda Law Society's official Twitter account then confirmed the suspension of Philip Munaabi and Geoffrey Muzima. So we're essentially left with two factions, both claiming to be the legitimate leaders of the organization.
This raises another crucial question for you. How does an organization function effectively when its own leadership is in such turmoil?
It's definitely a situation with potentially major consequences for the Uganda Law Society and the legal profession as a whole. But before we dive deeper into the fallout and analyze what this all means, we need to take a closer look at some of the events that led to this attempted coup. Stay tuned, because things are about to get really interesting.
So to fully grasp the complexities of this situation, we need to delve deeper into the events that led to this dramatic showdown.
You're absolutely right. It's like trying to solve a legal mystery here. We need to look back at some of the actions that might have triggered this attempted coup in the first place.
Exactly. And one incident that stands out is Ssemakadde's public criticism of the director of public prosecutions. He made some strong statements that didn't sit well with many in the legal community, including the ODPP.
Yeah, I remember reading about that. The ODPP even issued a press release in response to Ssemakadde's remarks, calling them inappropriate and disrespectful. It seems like Ssemakadde has a history of being quite outspoken, even when it comes to high-ranking officials.
That's right. And while some might see this as bold and necessary, especially when advocating for justice and reform, others perceived it as damaging to the reputation and integrity of the Uganda Law Society. Remember, this is an organization that prides itself on professionalism and upholding the rule of law.
So you're saying that Ssemakadde's actions were seen by some as contradicting the very principles the Uganda Law Society stands for.
Precisely, and this clash of styles and perceptions seems to be at the heart of this conflict. On one hand, you have Ssemakadde, who's known for his bold and sometimes controversial approach. On the other hand, you have Munaabi and Muzima, who seem to represent a more traditional and perhaps cautious approach
to leadership.
It's like two different visions for the Uganda Law Society, colliding head-on, and this attempted coup is the result of that collision. It's a fascinating case study in organizational dynamics. What happens when there's a fundamental disagreement about how an organization should be run and who gets to decide what the right path is? These are the questions that are playing out in real time at the Uganda Law Society.
And the stakes are incredibly high. The outcome of this power struggle could have significant implications for the organization's ability to function effectively and maintain its credibility within the Ugandan legal system.
It's a delicate situation, for sure. And as we discussed earlier, the situation is further complicated by the fact that both sides are claiming to be the legitimate leaders of the Uganda Law Society.
This is where it gets really interesting. For you, dear listener.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself as a member of the Uganda Law Society. Who would you side with in this conflict? And what factors would influence your decision?
It's a question worth pondering. And as we continue our deep dive, we'll explore the perspectives of those both inside and outside the organization, helping you gain a clearer understanding
of the complexities
and potential consequences of this unprecedented situation.
Now, before we were talking about the clash of leadership styles and the events that led to this attempted coup. But it's not just a two-sided battle. There are many different perspectives on this whole situation.
That's an important point. Remember Silver Kayondo, who we mentioned earlier. He praised the council's actions, emphasizing the need to uphold the Uganda Law Society's reputation. But even he acknowledged that past presidents of the organization have strong opinions about how this was handled.
Yeah, and those past presidents didn't hold back. They condemned the expulsions, claiming they completely disregarded the organization's constitution and established procedures.
So even among those who might agree with the outcome, there's disagreement on the methods used to achieve it. It really highlights the deep divisions within the Uganda Law Society and the lack of a clear path forward.
It's like everyone's trying to figure out what's best for the organization, but they have very different ideas about how to get there. And to make matters even more complicated, both factions are still claiming to be the legitimate leaders of the Uganda Law Society.
That's right. And this uncertainty creates a sort of leadership vacuum. It raises the question, how can the Uganda Law Society effectively advocate for the legal profession and uphold the rule of law when they are grappling with their own internal crisis of legitimacy?
It's a valid concern. This internal struggle could weaken their influence and make it difficult for them to be taken seriously. On legal matters in Uganda, their reputation is on the line.
Absolutely. And this entire saga raises fundamental questions about leadership, accountability, and the future of the Uganda Law Society. What will it take for them to heal these divisions and move forward?
It's a critical moment for the organization. The choices they make now will have a lasting impact on their credibility and effectiveness. Think about it. If you were a young lawyer in Uganda looking to the Uganda Law Society for guidance and support, how would you view this situation?
It would certainly give you pause. It underscores the importance of strong leadership and a clear commitment to the organization's core value.
This deep dive into the Uganda Law Society has been a real eye-opener. It shows how internal conflicts can erupt, even in prestigious institutions, and the fallout can be significant.
It's a reminder that no organization is immune to these kinds of challenges. And it highlights the importance of open dialogue, transparency, and a commitment to finding solutions that benefit the entire organization, not just one faction.
So what lies ahead? For the Uganda Law Society, will they find a way to reconcile and emerge stronger from this crisis? Or will these divisions continue to fester, undermining their ability to fulfill their important role in the Ugandan legal system?
Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. This story is far from over. We'll continue to follow the developments and keep you updated on Legal Avenue Deep Dive.
That's right. And don't forget to subscribe to our Counsel Ram YouTube channel for more in-depth analysis and discussions on the legal issues that matter most. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.
Little sweet inside.